Yes, Luke, how are you feeling after that game, my boy?
Uh, Relief, because I thought there was potential for that being another banana skin, but
Yeah.
it was very quickly. I was very quickly proven wrong, so that's good.
And is there any sense with you, Luke, that because we didn't get any goals in the second half, it doesn't feel quite as exciting as it would have done had we maybe scored, two in the first half and three in the second? And
No,
that's
sorry, go on.
no, go on, no, go on.
I was going to say exactly the opposite, actually, because a lot of the noise you hear at the moment about Ange's style is that game management is a problem, and I think that's what we did today. And it's easier at 5-0, isn't it? But um, I I thought, take your foot off the gas, relax a bit. I don't want to see anyone going down, getting injured. I'm happy to not see any goals in the second half. Even if it was 3-0, I'd still prefer to see a very calm performance where we try to keep the ball if we can, but stay tight. And they did that in the second half, and that's something people have criticised Ange for. And I think we saw the opposite.
And Luke, I hear it's your birthday today. A good birthday present from Ange. How are you feeling about Ange and the incoming matches? Does this give you more confidence, or do you think it's papering over the cracks?
No, I think, funnily enough, I think if you look at the games we've done well in this season, we've done well against teams who have come out at us, teams
Mm.
who actually attack us, and I think you can see it in Southampton. They want to play that way, and it's not really working. And they tried that tonight and got quite badly exposed. So, you know, the quality of Liverpool's at the moment is a little bit frightening, but I'm quite happy to see a team come at us, because if you look at the games we've lost, bar maybe Chelsea and Brighton, the other games were against teams that just kept men behind the ball and counter-attacked us, frustrated us, and nicked goals. I mean, we've only lost, I think, by one goal in every defeat this season. So it's been consistently tight. So I'd almost rather play a team that wants to come at us and thinks they can beat us, actually.
Okay, and let's talk about that Man United Carabao Cup game on Thursday. How are you feeling about that?
I'm going to be there, so I'm excited about that. But I'm not sure, because I think they are a bit like us, and that you don't know what you're going to get really when they kick off. But I think, to be honest, we should really be winning that game, or looking to win that game at home.
Hmm.
But it's going to be a tricky game, because I think they'll definitely have their tails up after that performance today. Like you said, perhaps they weren't the most dominant side, but in a cup competition, late goals and a late flurry is all you need to get through, and they have a lot more experience with that, I think, than some of our players do.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a tough game, actually.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough because I didn't watch much of the game today of Man United's, but I did watch a couple of the early games under Amarim, and it's very Conte ball-esque. It's very, obviously, not just because it's 3-4-3, but it's also very much like we're happy to soak up the pressure and then try and hit you with our more attacking players. So that's why I kind of said at the end of my match reaction there, I really want the fans to make it a proper 12th man at the stadium, because listen, we know that the fans are absolutely desperate for silverware, and we have this big stadium, and we need to make it intimidating in these big games, because if we don't do that, then we can't all be upset when the players don't come up in these big games. So I personally think for the rest of our season, it's so huge, and certainly for Ange's future, because he's teetering a little bit in terms of the fans' thoughts on him. And if he can get us through to the final, then that could really give him some collateral, especially if he was able to win it, obviously.
Yeah, I think that as a club, United have this thing that a lot of the pundits talk about, and no one can really ever put their finger on exactly what it is.
Mm.
But it's an ability to win those sort of games and then go through and win finals. And they've won, I think, arguably 2 finals in the last few years that maybe they shouldn't have won.
Yeah.
And it means they keep ticking over with silverware, and that's been our problem when we've come up against these tests. We've failed a lot, and you know, but I think you're absolutely right. If the fans turn up, which I'm absolutely sure they will, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be winning that game with the performance we put in against them at Old Trafford earlier in the season.
Yeah, totally. And because 2024 is about to come to an end, and hopefully Chris told you that he wanted me to ask you this question, Have you got some favourite and worst moments of watching Spurs in this calendar year?
Yeah, I do. I think they're all fairly recent actually as well, because I sort of had quite an open mind last season, and you know, I was just intrigued to see what was going to happen with Ange, and what was a massive shift from very defensive and negative football for quite a few years. But this season, I think that's where those moments have stuck in my mind. So the best ones, I would start with seeing Mikey Moore take on 4 or 5 Alkmaar players and just have them on toast, and then whip a ball into the box for Johnson. Made me think, whatever goes on with Ange, or you know, with other things with Levy or whatever, people think we've got some young talent that's really exciting, and that's a future that's worth looking forward to regardless of what happens. So that was great. Just to add another one in, I also loved seeing Tom Solanke chip Martinez, I think 2 days after he got Goalkeeper of the Year award. I thought it couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke, so I enjoyed that. Worst moment, probably actually fairly recently, was the Brighton game. And the reason being, I just thought it was a strange one in terms of the quality of football we see Tottenham play, particularly this season when they're at their best, be cancelled out by a greater level of desire. And the Brighton players at full time saying all Herzl said to us at half time was, "You've got to want it more." Yeah. And to think that anyone could go out and want it more than you is quite damning, really, because that's not about tactics at all. That's about your attitude. And I thought, oof, that worries me a bit, because we could be exposed by teams who just want it more than us. And it has happened since then as well. So I think it was a bit of a worrying moment. So that's definitely the one that sticks in my mind.
Mate, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Let's talk after another game, and let's hope. I think this is the first time we've talked, isn't it, Luke? So hopefully you are the reason why we won, and we'll win every single time that you call in afterwards.
Cheers, Barnaby. Thanks.
Stop, man. Have a good night, mate. Appreciate it. Happy birthday as well.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.